Hello friends, welcome to the channel. I am Poonam Dua and today with me you are going to cover the very famous poetry Hunger by the Odia writer Jayanta Mahapatra. This is very important for many universities, specifically IGNOU. I have taught the very same poetry to IGNOU students and Delhi University students. Other than this is part of many major universities like Osmania, Uttarakhand and Himachal University. So this, if the poetry is included in the syllabus of many universities, that already becomes very important. And I always suggest you to prepare thoroughly for any kind of exam that you prepare for, and please do not forget to share and subscribe the channel first. Some other major Indian English literature topics are mentioned here for which the videos are available. You need to watch these videos to make your Indian English literature concrete. There are videos of Untouchable, Autobiography of Unknown Indian, Hindu Swaraj, Indian Rebel, Astrologer's Day by R.K. Narayan, Clear Light of the Day, Kanthapura Tara by Mahesh Dattani, background casually by the very famous Jewish poet Nissim Ezekiel, Sarojini Naidu's Love and Death, and Kamla Das's An Introduction. So if you will cover these major topics of Indian English literature, you will make your concepts really good. Let us know something about Jayanta Mahapatra, an Indian English poet, the first Indian poet to win a Sahitya Academy Award for English poetry. We keep on hearing many a times who is the first playwright to win Sahitya Academy, who is the first novelist to win Sahitya Academy. But now we come to know he is the first poet who won Sahitya Academy for English poetry. He has written many poetries like Indian Summer and Hunger, which are regarded as classics in Indian modern English literature. So, a very prominent poet of Indian English writing. कौन सी पोइट्री के लिए उन्हें साहित्य अकेडमी अवार्ड मिला था ये भी जान लेते हैं. द नेम इज रिलेशनशिप्स एंड द ईयर वाज 1981. You need to learn the name of his volumes as well, volumes of poetry. And for competitive exam students, I'll suggest learn at least the first and few important like Reign of Rights is very important, relationships for which he got the Sahitya Academy Award, and the last one. At least do learn these. Giving you a glimpse of the type of questions that can be asked about him in various competitive exams. This one I've taken from June 2007 UGC Net. Relationship is a long poem by which of the following writer, and I know you know the answer now. Hunger is the poetry that we are going to cover today. Let us get acquainted with this poetry as well. Originally published in 1976 and is a very critically appreciated, largely acclaimed poetry, always remain in publication. This was first published in the collection Reign of Rights and the year 1976. I already told you. This writer, very prominent and has keenly observed the society. It seems like that he has written the poetry on the issues like poverty, hunger, starvation, sexual exploitation, and male bestiality. And specifically, what attracted him was the commercialization of sex. You can say prostitution. This attracted the attention of the poet. This poetry also clearly says about the need for food, that is one thing, and the need for flesh and sex, sexual desires, and both are considered to be the animalistic desire. Let us read the text line by line and understand. It was hard to believe the flesh was heavy on my back. The fisherman said, "Will you have her?" carelessly, trailing his nets and his nerves as though his words sanctified the purpose with which he faced himself. I saw his white bone thrash his eyes. The poem consists four stanzas having 5 lines each stanza, and there is no rhyming scheme. You can see back, carelessly, words, himself, eyes, no rhyme is there. So the speaker is carrying a heavy load. शुरुआत में हमें दिखाया गया कोई heavy load feel होता है speaker को. This can be the load of a heavy luggage or something else which the speaker feels to be a burden. It can be a physical luggage, it can be a metaphorical burden. The speaker for the first time experiences the overpowering urge of sex. ऐसा लगता है कि शायद वो अर्ज ऑफ सेक्स है, अर्ज ऑफ सेक्सुअल डिजायर है, अर्ज ऑफ फिजिकल इंटीमेसी है जो कि उन्हें हैवी फील हो रही है. एंड somebody observed him, and that person was a fisherman. The fisherman said, will you have her? Carelessly. Have वर्ड हम क्यों यूज करते हैं कुछ खाने के लिए, और जो भी हम खाते हैं दैट इज एन ऑब्जेक्ट. यहाँ पर देखिए किसी गर्ल को ऑब्जेक्टिफाई किया गया, विल यू हैव हर, हैव यूज करके. सो द स्पीकर फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम experiences the power of sex. That is why it was hard for him to believe the power of sex. Fisherman requires money. Fisherman को money चाहिए. Fisherman ने observe कर लिया कि he is going to have a customer, due to which he invites the young man to make the use of his daughter the way we use some object. He was taking back his net, trailing his nets and his nerves. I know many of you must be thinking of some literary device here. There is a hidden literary device in these lines, trailing his nets and his nerves, and I would like you to mention the same in comments. He also seemed to be very lean and weak. जो हमारे फिशरमैन थे वो बहुत लीन और वीक दिखे. इस लाइन से हमें पता चलता है आई सॉ हिज वाइट बोन थ्रैश हिज आईज. ऐसा लग रहा था कि उनकी आंखों में से उनकी बोन्स निकल कर बाहर आ रही हैं. वो अपने वर्ड्स को सेंक्टिफाई करने की कोशिश में थे. उन्होंने जो वर्ड्स बोले दैट इज द कॉल फॉर सम प्रोस्टिट्यूशन. प्रोस्टिट्यूशन के लिए वो इनवाइट कर रहे हैं हमारे स्पीकर को, और उन्हीं वर्ड्स को प्योरीफाई करने की भी कोशिश करें. सेंक्टिफाई द पर्पस विद विच ही फेस्ड हिमसेल्फ. कहीं ना कहीं उन्हें भी पता है कि जो वो कह रहे हैं वो गलत है, लेकिन अपने वर्ड्स को सेंक्टिफाई कर रहे हैं. द पोम सीक्स क्लियरली of the need of food and the appetite for flesh, sex, both animal desires, as I told you. It reveals the plight of a fisherman who can't make the two ends meet. शायद ये फिशरमैन बहुत ही पुअर हैं and is not even able to get basic needs, basic facilities, food, clothing, shelter properly. And he can feel the father's pain and the father's anguish vividly. Let us see what he says next. I followed him across the sprawling sands, my mind thumping in the flesh sling. Hope lay perhaps in burning the house I lived in. Silence gripped my sleeves, his body clawed at forth, his old nets had only dragged up from the sea. अब हमारे स्पीकर ने फॉलो किया फिशरमैन को अक्रॉस दी सैंड, अक्रॉस दी होल बीच, एंड ही वाज वेरी कीन at actually at that point of time to satisfy his physical hunger. The speaker was. He was full of hopes. The fisherman moved forward dragging his old nets. नेट के अंदर कुछ नहीं था, कोई फिश नहीं थी, सिर्फ अपने नेट्स को ड्रैग करते हुए आ रहे थे. So the poet then followed him across the spreaded sand and his mind was thumping. उनके दिल में एक उथल पुथल चल रही थी. उनको कहीं ना कहीं पता था कि जो मैं करने जा रहा हूँ वो गलत है. एंड ही हैड वेरी ग्रेट होप्स कि आई विल डू समथिंग बैड टू मी, जिससे कि मेरा ये sin compensate हो जाए. He lays perhaps, hope lays perhaps in burning the house I lived in. तो वो एक तरीके की होप करते हैं कि he thought that his sin will be forgiven by burning the house that he lived in. This line shows that the poet was feeling quite guilty because of what he was going to do, what he was going to do in the house of this fisherman with the girl. In the flickering dark, his heart opened like a wound. The wind was I and the days and nights before. Palm fronds scratched my skin inside the shack, an oil lamp splayed the hours punched to those walls. Over and over the sticky suit crossed the space of my mind. He says there was a complete darkness. कभी कभी एक flickering feel होती थी, but otherwise it was complete dark and gloomy. The shack is Chopri, tutti frutti chopri, seemed like a wound which is filthy and which is hurting. As the speaker entered the shack, he was shocked to see the poor condition of the fisherman and his daughter. They were living a miserable life there. A small oil lamp was lighted and it showed the inner wall. अगर वो लैंप नहीं होता तो अंदर की वॉल भी नजर नहीं आती. They were covered with soot. So they reached the fisherman's hut, which was quite dark and it opened like a wound. जैसे किसी पुराने घाव को खोल दिया गया ऐसी फील आई हमारे स्पीकर को फिशरमैन के घर में एंटर करते हुए. Wind यहाँ पर क्या symbolize कर रही है? Wind is symbolizing here that there was some storm basically which was going into the mind of the poet. That is why he says the wind was I. And days and night means that it was happening maybe all the time. Maybe it was not he was here for the first time, but the people kept on coming and going from this place for this sexual desire purpose only. There was only an oil lamp in the shack, and because of that oil lamp he was able to see those walls which were covered completely with a soot. I heard him say, "My daughter, she has just turned 15. Feel her? I'll be back soon. Your bus leaves at 9." The sky fell on me and the father's exhausted while. Long and lean, her ears were cold as rubber. She opened her wormy legs wide. I felt the hunger there. The other one, the fish slithering, turning inside. स्पीकर ने फिशरमैन को ये कहते सुना कि the daughter has just turned 15, use her, enjoy with her, have sexual gratification with her, and he will be back soon. And the speaker's bus was at 9 o'clock. At this sound, after hearing this kind of urging from a father saying someone you can have sexual advances with my daughter, something not digestible at least in Indian society. By hearing this, speaker understood the two kind of hungers are there. One is the hunger of sex, the other is the hunger of your belly, when you feel the hunger for food. The speaker felt a heavy burden as if the sky fell on him and the father has lost all his senses. The poet hears the fisherman say, "My daughter, she has just turned 15, feel her, and I'll be back soon. Your bus leaves at 9." 15 is the age when a girl is at her charm, at the age when she is supposed to have so many aspirations, so many goals. But all those goals, all those aspirations are diminished for this girl, and she has been just left here for prostitution. Feel her. What do we mean by the term feel her? Feel her means quench your sexual hunger, sexual thirst by having sex with her. The way fisherman persuades the poet to have sex with his own daughter makes the poet feel as if the sky has fallen on him. The poet finds the girl who is young but malnourished due to poverty, of course. Seeing the poet, she opens her legs apart. Maybe she is habitual of this kind of treatment. At this stage, the poet knows for the first time about the other hunger which is just opposite of the sexual hunger and which comes from an empty stomach. Fish slithering, turning inside depicts the churning moment that happens inside the stomach when the stomach is completely empty. Let us come to the theme now in the end. In this poem, the poet talks about two basic human urges. कौन कौन सी हैं वो urges आप बता पाएंगे बिना आगे बढ़े? The hunger of the belly and the hunger of the sex. दो तरीके के animalistic desires हमारे poet ने बताए हैं जो इस पूरी दुनिया को चलाते हैं. All the economy runs only because of these two hungers. Poem shows the paradoxical situations in which the human beings are trapped. दोनों की अपनी अपनी अलग अलग hungers हैं, and it is the one hunger which is able to satisfy the other hunger. The poem also shows how poverty forces the fisherman's daughter to prostitution. I'll not say here fisherman's daughter, how poverty forces a father to make her daughter practice prostitution. So that is it for this part of the poetry. You may join the classes to cover all the topics in detail during the sessions. You will get live interaction with the faculty as well as the PDF will be given. The tests will be conducted. Your progress will be told to you at every step. You can have any academic discussion with the faculties after joining the classes. Thanks a lot for watching. Best of luck for exams and please do not forget to share and subscribe the channel.